Hello, everybody, and welcome to Contact. So we've got a bit of a weird one for you tonight. So we'll start off with the news that's trending. Alec Baldwin, you all know, great actor, um, had a bit of an incident on set that resulted in the death of the writer of the movie that he was in, and apparently the director was injured as well. Apparently it was a prop gun. So yeah, that's the big major news that's happening right now. Also, international trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife. The other trailers that we've gotten, obviously haven't been international trailers, but they did put out an international trailer, and quite interestingly enough, had some of the old Ghostbusters theme in it. I want to discuss that a little bit. Didn't think the international trailer was as good as the other two trailers that we got, but I'm still excited for the movie. Also, Chris Chibnall apparently is going to blow up the universe. So he's not happy with just blowing up Gallifrey. Apparently he's going to blow up the universe as well. And Jodie Whittaker made some comments as well in regarding her leaving, where she said that the show needed new energy. And the question that I have is, or the point that I'm going to make is, well, wasn't that the point of your casting? To bring new energy to the show, because the show had become stale. So they brought you in. Now all of a sudden now the show needs new energy. Don't get it. We'll be discussing a little bit about that as well. Also, the second episode for the Chucky series, I've obviously watched it, and for anybody that's been watching it, I just want to discuss briefly the second episode, which will have caused a little bit of controversy. And there is some woke elements creeping into the show, but they counter that with some stuff that will drive the other side mad. So what they're trying to do is, with this show, it looks like they're trying to please everybody sort of thing. But it's got, if I don't know, man. I just don't know. Like, don't get me wrong, it is engaging, it's a good show. I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm just, not much has really happened. It does seem to be a bit of a slow burner. We're getting more of the Charles Lee Ray stuff as well, which is good. But it is a bit of a slow burner, but there's some great scenes between Chucky and the main character, I have to say. And Chucky could have got himself into trouble. So Chucky comes out and tells the guy that he has a gender fluid child. I think he said non-binary or something as well. But there was a line before that where he called a gay person the F word. You know what I'm talking about. The British call a smoke the same thing as well. But this is what I'm trying to say. There's some stuff that happens in the show that you're kind of like, Jesus Christ. And then he comes out with a line like this, and you go, oh shit, you're going to get yourself into trouble. So it's one of those shows. It's one of those shows. It is a bit of a slow burner, but I'll watch it and see where it actually goes. But as I said, yeah, the big news. Oh, also, actually, back to the Doctor Who fandom. We've also got J-bots out there that are wishing the Queen dead. Yes, you heard it right. There are J-bots out there that are hoping, because the Queen apparently had come out of hospital. She's back in the palace. But some of these J-bots were hoping that she'd pass away so they get time off school, college, and all of that other stuff. Quite disgusting behavior from that side of the fandom yet again. Now, if you want to take part in tonight's show, please let me know in the live chat now. What I'll do is I will send you a link or an email if you want to come on and discuss it. But yeah, the Jodie Whittaker fans, again, not showing themselves in the best light. I put up a post yesterday on Twitter, screenshots that I received from someone that sends me some of this stuff, and when I read this, I was quite disgusted. But look, it's the typical behaviour of those fans. We've been saying it for a long, long time. They're just vile, disgusting people. Also, actually, I want to talk about the Dave Chappelle comedy that's caused an awful lot of controversy as well. And I can tell you now, after watching it, I can tell you now that these transgender activists are doing a lot more damage than they. Well, I think they do realize they're doing it. But after watching it, all of these transgender activists, not transgender people, but transgender activists, have been saying that this guy is transphobic. If you go and watch his comedy special, you will see that he's actually the opposite. And at the end, he leaves with a story that shocks the whole audience. I was actually in tears listening to it. It was very, very an emotional. You could see it was a very emotional topic for him. And he did say that this would be his last special for a while anyway. But if you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. All of these transgender activists are crying wolf, the usual bollocks. He isn't transphobic. If you listen to what he actually says and not what you think he says, then you will see that this man isn't what people are claiming he is. So we got fireworks going off because Ted has decided to back. We had a football match where the local team was playing a rival. They needed to win to stay second in the league or to keep the pressure on fourth place, and they won their game in hand. So it's had to be very, that's why I'm late, because it's had to be very, very, very loud outside. And even with the windows closed, there would have been too much. There's music playing in the background and all of that. I suppose we'll get into this. We'll start off. As I said, if you want to come on, please let me know in the chat. We've got 19 people watching at the moment. Please hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that. Sorry, just... Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't look in the best of form, guys. Mammy will give him something to calm him down now. I know, buddy. They're all celebrating. Anyway, let's get into this. Where is it? So we'll start off with Jodie Whittaker's comments. So, Chris Chibnall is due to be replaced too, she said. The doctor is Chris's doctor, so for me, it's right. But if everyone comes up to you forever going, I'm a Doctor Who fan, then that is an absolute joy, because it has been such a pleasure. But it is also letting go of it. It will be I feel like I will be filled with a lot of grief for it, because I'm kind of, even thinking about it, it makes me upset. But this show needs new energy. That was Jodie Whittaker's comments when asked how she felt that she was leaving. Now, the point I'm going to make is actually quite simple. You know, when Jodie Whittaker was announced and Chris Chibnall was announced, we were told that this was going to be a brand new era, and you know that the future was going to be bright, and she was going to bring something different to the role. You may as well say some new energy. See what I did there? Anyway, 5 years down the line, or nearly 5 years down the line, 2 series later, we're coming up to our third series. She has now come out and said that the show needs new energy. But was that not the point of her casting in the first place? To bring new energy? I don't get it. See, what happened was it backfired for the BBC. What BBC wanted to do was they attacked this is what they do. They attack the fandom. The media attack the fandom. They try to deconstruct the fandom. Now, what happens is then, because of their new doctor, they try to bring in these new flux of fans. See what I did there too, right? But unfortunately, what happened was there wasn't enough new fans to bring on board. For the simple reason is the writing was so bad. Also, Jodie Whittaker's doctor was very unlikable, and the less said about her companions, the better. But we know how bad her companions actually were. So you know, it's interesting now that they're coming out with all of this rhetoric. We had Piers Wenger come out and say, "Yeah, this is going to be Doctor Who for the new generation." So we're getting all of this rhetoric before RTD takes over. But this was the same rhetoric that they used 5 years ago when Jodie Whittaker was announced. So what? I mean, I do agree with her that the show needs new energy. She's not wrong, but the fact is, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because that's exactly exactly the reason and the point behind her casting. They wanted to bring new energy to the show. And now all of a sudden she's saying that the show, and someone tried to argue with me on Twitter and say, well, yeah, because I called out that comment, and then someone came back at me with, well, 3 series is enough. It gets stale after that, right? But what happened to the 5-year plan or the 5 series plan, right? How many series did RTD stick around for? He sticked around for 4, and then he did the specials. How many did Stephen Moffat stick? But I think my point is being made anyway, and I made the point. He never came back at me anyway with that because they couldn't, right? So you know, it's absolutely, look. Her fans and the people that support this era are still coming out with excuses, right? If rumors are to be believed, they were supposed to get 5 series. When they announced it on HBO Max, series 13, 14, 15, they showed it on screen, right? So if there really was a 5 series plan, well, they're gone after 3. So something happened behind the scenes. By the way, the biggest thing, I forgot to bring this up actually, it's connected. Chris Chibnall now has come out. Now, if all you guys remember on this channel, I've been saying it since series 11 that Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker wanted to live, right? Now, I've been called a liar. I was slagged. I was attacked. You've all seen what happened. Chris Chibnall's done a recent interview, right? And he said he wanted to hand over the baton a long time, right? That he's been trying to get out. Basically, he's been trying to get out of the show for a long time, right? So again, I'm going to say it, right? My sources, again, spot on, right? Now, I've taken a lot of stick over these last couple of years for saying that, right? And we even had Mr. TARDIS do a video to try and prove that I was a liar, right? But the problem for him is that I always say it, whether it's in a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a year from now, it'll come out. And Chris Chibnall now is after confirming what I've been telling all you guys, that he wanted to run. I'm telling you now, he knew he was way over his head. And after Series 11 didn't go well, right, he wanted to go. He wanted to go, and he was convinced to stay. Same thing with Series 12, right? We had the whole Chaos in Cardiff stuff going on behind the scenes. Even BBC Radio, which I put up the interview, even BBC Radio, right? The DJ was saying that there was problems during the production of Series 11, and that carried on into Series 12. Right? So, look, as I said, whether me source information comes out in a couple of weeks, couple of months, a year or two from now, it'll always come out. The truth will always come out. And Chris Chibnall is at the proving everything that my sources were saying was spot on. This guy wanted to run. And that's the guy that the BBC thought was the right man to bring this show into for the next generation. And he failed. And he failed. I don't know how many times I have to keep telling you guys, and I keep telling everybody on the channel as well, you know, you should really sit up and take notice when we sources come with information and I'll put it out there. Because, as I said, whether it doesn't matter when the news comes out, my sources are always proven to be spot on. Chris Chibnall has admitted himself that he wanted to run. He wanted to hand the baton over for a very long time. And he worded it in such a way as well that I'll hand it back to RTD. He had no fucking choice. He had no choice. Right, I'm going to send an email to a couple of people. Obviously, there's a few people missing tonight because I've started late. I won't be on for too long either, but because this weekend, obviously, we have our watch-alongs. But next week now, where everything changes now, because we're gearing up for Series 13, which starts next Sunday. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And I'm going to be changing. Now, I'm saying this now, so there's no moaning. But this is the way I'm going to be doing it now. Because we got so many panelists now, well, I have to do it, and because we have the same panels all the time, you know, we could have 8, maybe 6 people on a panel, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the panels, and what's going to happen is that everybody is going to pick. And listen, I'm going to say this now because the last time I tried to do this, everybody picked the classic watch along, right? You have to remember there's Rick and Morty, there's Classic Who, and there's New Who watch-alongs, right? So they're the three watch-alongs, right? And then we're gonna have obviously the Tarzan Talks returns, and then we're gonna have the panels for the review of Series 13. By next Wednesday, I will find out how many people are interested in the Series 13 review panels. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on some new people and some of the regular guests. But it's going to be one panel per panelist now, because I'm making the panels shorter or smaller. So it gives people more of a chance to actually get their point of view across. It's been happening too much where we've had big panels and we all do it, including myself. There's too many people talking over each other. So I'm going to minimize the panels, make them smaller. So what's going to happen, so the people will have to come with me and come to me. What's going to happen is I'm going to talk to me panelists on Twitter that I can contact on Twitter. The ones that are on Facebook. So this is what's going to happen. You will have a choice of a panel, right? So you either choose to be on New Who, Classic Who, or Rick and Morty. And remember, everybody can't pick Classic Who. If people all pick Classic Who, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the decision for you, because it's only fair. Everybody can't pick the Classic panel. Now, the only panelist that's going to be permanent, and I'm going to get it out of the way and say it right now so there's no confusion, will be Charlotte. She'll be on New Who, she'll be on Classic Who, and she's also doing the Series 13 reviews. She's the only one that's going to be on all panels that we're doing, except for Rick and Morty. She doesn't watch Rick and Morty. Charlotte is a very Charlotte, as you know yourselves, comes up with some great points, whether it's on the New Who streams or the Classic streams, and I don't want to, disturb that. But everybody else that's been on the panel will have to choose which panels you are going to be on, and I will be getting in touch with you on Wednesday. Wednesday is when I'll put out the new schedule. Tuesday night I'll talk to all my panelists, and then by Wednesday then I'll have the new schedule out. And as I said, a few things are going to be switched around and stuff like that to compensate for the fact that we're going to be doing the Tarda Zone talks and obviously the Series 13 reviews. So every panelist that has been on, this is, as I said, you will get to choose one panel to be on. When we're making the panels smaller, so it gives everybody a chance, because the panels are too big, and I want to split them up, and I want to make them, have me as the host and then 3 guests, right? So as I said, you can't all pick Classic Who, right? So you have a choice between Rick and Morty, Classic Who, and New Who. Now, every time I do this, nobody picks New Who, but someone has to pick New Who, or I'll make the decision for you, and I'll say, right, if you want to be on the channel, this is the panel you are on, because you do be on the panels anyway every day. So I'll just pick the day for you if you can't make up your own mind. So as I said, Charlotte is already locked down for New Who, Classic Who, and the Series 13 review panels. Basically, she's going to be my co-host for those 3 streams. So the rest of you that will have to pick, will pick a panel, but I'll give you, you can have 2 options. So if there's too many in one, then you can have our second option. So let me know. Right, so I've sent PD Rich an email. So PD, you said you wanted to come on. So just for anybody that doesn't know what's going on with Alec Baldwin, I might as well fill you in. I woke up and it was trending. So for anybody that doesn't know what's going on, this is weird. And of course, I'm not going to speculate, but there's already conspiracy theories flying around. Now, my thing is, I'm just going to say, is that apparently he was supposed to be filming a scene, right? Now, that would make sense to me, right, if the director and the writer were in the movie. Now, if he was filming a scene, how did the director get injured and how did the writer die? Are they in this movie? I don't know, but it just seemed a little bit weird. So for anybody that wants to know, John, that's good, but you'll have to give me a second option as well, because I know lots of people are going to pick Classic Who, and as I said, I'm not going to have everybody just pick Classic Who. That's why I'm giving you the option of 2 panels. So give me your second choice. What you call it? At the end of the day, as you know, I mix things up anyway every so often. But so your second option is New Who. So you don't want to. So you're not. So it's either Doctor Who one, but you know Rick and Morty. Fine, that's okay. So I'll write that down. So that's good. So yeah, just to read what's going on, so for anybody that doesn't know what I'm actually talking about. So okay, there's a picture of him on set where he's bent over. It looks like he's getting sick. So there's already a hashtag send him to prison. There's also other people saying how nice of a man he is. I don't know if people have forgotten his audio where he was threatening, was it his daughter or his wife or something. He's not a nice man, but this looks like a tragic accident, and it doesn't matter what I think of him personally. If this is a tragic accident, my heart does go out to him, and obviously the family of the person that passed away. So Alec Baldwin discharged the prop weapon on set of his latest film. Someone had to have put live bullets in for some reason for this tragedy to occur. Premier Props EVP Dan Levin tells Newsmax. So there's already, as I said, some conspiracy theories. Also, there's people bringing up his homophobic Twitter meltdown after his wife accused tweeting Jordan the James Gandolfini funeral, the guy that played Bleeding Tony Soprano. But that's the thing that puzzles me though. Is he's supposed to be shooting this scene, so I can't understand. Was he pointing the prop gun at the writer and the director? Nothing about this seems to make sense. If you get what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy or he did this. It looks like it is a tragic accident, right? That's what people are saying. But unless they're actually in the movie, which is not unusual, by the way, but it can happen. But I don't know. It's just a peculiar one. It's just a peculiar one. Right, let's bring on our first guest. I don't know if we're going to have any more people, and we'll see how we go. If you do want to come on, just let me know in the chat there. But it's the one and only PD Rich.
How you doing, Noel?
Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I seen that tweet. I just retweeted that tweet as well, Chris, because in 2017 he said, "I wonder how it must feel to wrongfully kill someone." Right? He put that tweet up in 2017, and then this happens. Now there is a lot of conspiracy. Listen, you know, yourselves. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist myself, right? But you know, I'm not going to jump into conspiracy theories on this until I get all the facts and the information about what happened. But I will say it is a peculiar one. It definitely is a peculiar one. But you know, Nancy Sinatra's account on Twitter said how he was a gentle and kind and wonderful man and all of this, and I start laughing, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. He's not a kind, wonderful gentleman man. We've all heard his tirade. We've all seen the way he's been acting over the last few years. He's a vile creature, but nobody deserves to be in this position that he's in now. And if it was, listen, we don't know all the facts, but it's been classed as a tragedy, right? It is a tragedy, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But let's not kid ourselves here. Alec Baldwin is a bastard. End of. He's a prick. Everybody knows it. Don't know why when something like this happens, they all come out, oh, you're a great man. He's not a great man, right? He's a dickhead, right? But this happened to him and it's sad. And you know, as I said, I've seen the photographs there and he looks genuinely distraught. So, you know, my heart does go out to him. But let's not kid ourselves. You know, he's not this man that everybody's making him out to be. He is a prick. He's always been a prick. You don't get anywhere the way he did in his career if you're not a prick. So let's not pretend all of a sudden that he's a Tom Hanks, right? He ain't a Tom Hanks. And he was married to Kim Basinger as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Baldwin was in a scene where he was recorded to shoot directly into the camera. That's where the director did it right, and we're sitting. Fair enough, Baba. Thank you. That explains it, and that explains it. But still, you know, it's the photograph. So I don't like seeing anybody like that, and he does genuinely look absolutely distraught. Let's obviously spare a thought for the victim of this tragedy. She's a woman, I think, female writer, sadly passed away. The director apparently was released from medical care, so he's okay. He's not seriously injured, but you know, someone has lost their lives. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's a peculiar situation.
Yeah, this is a strange one. This is very suspicious now. The problem with America is, and films, the guns aren't prop guns. 9 times out of 10, they're real guns. But they load them with blanks. They check to make sure they're loaded with blanks. The Brandon Lee thing was something completely different.
And that's the thing that a lot of people are bringing up, PD. The fact that this is not the first time.
Yeah.
For anybody that's old enough, like myself, old enough to remember, we also had Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
And there's even rumors that his father as well might have been, and it's never been proven, but apparently, you know, he died in mysterious circumstances as well. So did Brandon Lee. But here's the thing: after that incident happened with Brandon Lee, they had gone out of their way to change the way props were used and stuff to be checked. So this is why I do agree with you. There is a little bit of suspicion there, and I'm not saying it's towards Alec Baldwin. Who loaded the prop gun?
Exactly.
And who in their right mind put live bullets in a gun?
There's 2 types of ammunition they normally use: blanks or dummies. Dummies is if you get close-ups and all that, and make it look like it's a real gun if they're flicking it out and twiddling it around their fingers. But the rest of normally when they're firing it's blanks. But yeah, as Babette said, yes, the stuff can build up in the chamber. And if a load of stuff builds up in a chamber and it's fired with a blank behind it, that blank becomes a plastic projectile.
Yeah, no, and I get that. But look, we don't have every single detail yet, obviously.
No, we don't have any detail.
So, you know, we can only go on what we know right now.
Yeah.
But I do find it suspicious that if it wasn't a build-up like Babette has said, right?
Yeah.
Who loaded the gun and who in their right mind? Was it someone from the prop department that actually had a problem with the director and the writer? We don't know. Could have had a problem with Alex
to the armorer.
Right, you know, there's so much that we could speculate on, but we're not going to. We'll wait until obviously we get all of the news. But that is the big top story that's happening in Hollywood right now at the moment. But wanted to ask you as an Englishman, obviously I told you earlier on, or told everybody earlier, that the J-Bots wishing the Queen dead so they can have a little bit of a holiday. How do you feel? I mean, I'm not a royalist. I said it during between, but this it's disgusting. She's a human being, you know.
She's in her 90s. The words I can use are fucking disgusting.
Like, for example, right? Hold on. I'll give you a little taster. I'm not gonna put there because I'm not giving them any
no, don't
airtime. So I won't read out their names, but I'll read you out some of the comments from these disgusting parasites, right? Now, a lot of them will be gone when it looks like when Whittaker disappears. So that'll be
yeah. We'll be thankful for that, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here it is. Here's the thread. So come on. But this phone's taking ages to load, folks. I don't want to do it on my computer because everything freezes when I do it. Right, so this is so someone so Politics for All had a headline. New, the Queen has cancelled her Northern Ireland trip after doctors advised her to rest for the next few days. So then it turned out that she ended up in hospital for routine checks and all of that. She's in the 90s, you know,
Yeah.
the Queen. So, you know, it is going to be big news. So this account wrote, is this happening? Right? And then underneath it, someone wrote, no, stop. If she pegs it before Doctor Who starts, they'll probably have to delay it. Right? Then someone else replied, there is that, but there's a national mourning period, so we all get time off of whatever we have to do, so there's still a win, right? And then this, by the way, this is from a female account that was writing sick Doctor Who cum jokes, and when I called her out for it,
Yeah.
all of these like Mr. TARDIS and Therese and all of these defended her. So this is the one that's saying she wants the Queen to basically drop dead. The same piece of shit that I called out. So then she replies, if she could hold out till Crimbo so we don't have to work, then it'll be smashing. Right? Then the other account replies back, actually, if she waits until New Year's Day to fuck off, then I get 3 weeks off, not just 2.
Jesus.
Right? So someone else replied, wait, no, it can't happen during the holiday half term because then we don't get a week off. Right? Then someone else wrote, here we go again. And then someone else replied, it's party time soon. And then someone actually wrote, oh my God. And then someone else replied, then everyone's going to be suspended. These are the same people that attacked me, right? And have been calling me out for calling them out and calling me a bully. But yet they're wishing a 90-odd-year-old woman to drop dead because for them, it'll be party time and they'll have an extra holiday. And then some are actually, you know, saying, well, we don't want her to because it'll interfere with Doctor Who. But this is the disgusting, vile fandom. And this was the same girl, as I said, that did those Doctor Who cum jokes. And when I called her out for it, I got a lot of grief for that. Apparently, I was bullying a woman. This woman now has come out and wished the Queen dead. And this is the fandom. These are the people that are in this fandom. Disgusting. I wanted to, like, I mean, you've already said, like, this, there's words to describe them, but I mean, come on, that's, I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, they're going, do you know, I'm baffled. How did we get to such a point that there are people, transgender people on Twitter and on this TikTok thing coming on doing videos and wishing their parents dead, hoping that their parents die of cancer?
These people are evil.
Right? And then you got people like this. No, don't give them attention is what they want. No, I haven't mentioned the person's name, but I am going to highlight it, Lee, because this is what's been happening in the fandom. It's absolutely disgusting and it must always be called out, Lee. This is the thing. The fandom don't learn, or the fandom will never learn if these things are not called to task. That is absolutely disgusting. I'm not even a royalist. I hate the fucking royal family myself personally, right? But at the end of the day, you don't wish a 90-odd-year-old woman fucking dead because you want a holiday or you want an extra couple of weeks off work. And then on the same token, then making jokes, oh, maybe she shouldn't die till after the new year so we can watch Doctor Who and all of this other rubbish. Or so we can get an extra 2 weeks holiday, you know? So it must be called out because, you know, we get called out for being the toxic ones because we don't like a TV show. Yet these people are coming out with sick art, sick cum jokes, wishing people dead. No, it can't be allowed. We have to speak out. I will not mention their names, obviously, but it has to be called out because nobody on their side of the argument will call them out. You won't see a Mr. Tardis or Therese call them out, right? They will probably laugh and say, oh, it was a joke. She didn't mean to say that. She was only joking. Well, even joking about something like that.
It's a bit
About
disgusting,
your queen is disgusting. You know, but that's how that's what they would say. They probably say it's a joke, don't take it too serious. Like they did when she was making those sick cum jokes about David Tennant. Right? So no, this behavior must be called out. It must be because it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm just going to check my phone and see if anybody sent me any messages. I'm a bit slow today. So if someone does want to come on, send me a DM on Twitter or Messenger if you're following me on Facebook. Send me a message and I'll try bring you on. As I said, we're not going to stay on for over 42 minutes, so we'll go for another 20 odd minutes because I know Friday Night Tights is on and all of that, and some people will probably want to go and watch the more popular show that's on tonight. So yeah, so if you want to come on, send me a DM. Why is my phone freezing? Everything's not working out today. What's going on? But PD, just obviously to ask you about the Whittaker and stuff about the show needing new energy. I mean, that was
funny.
That was the whole point of Horcasting. But
Exactly.
I mean, what do you want to say about it? Because I think it's so funny.
BBC should have let him go. Sorry, I mean BBC Studios should have let him go after Chaos in Cardiff. But they're so up their bottoms about contracts being fulfilled and all that you've got to see the end of your contract and all this, that they were trying to keep him. It's like, what are you doing? Just get rid of him. Just try to save face when the best thing to do is just cut ties.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. It was like just got rid of him, got someone else in. Grab Joseph Lidster from Sarah Jane Adventures or something.
Yeah, see that the most startling thing about this is that though, for me, is the fact that Chris Chibnall has finally come out and actually said that I actually have the post. I put everything up on my Twitter account because you know me. When my sources come through, especially on Twitter, I like to big it up. And the only reason why I do that is because of all the stick that I get. And you know, it does feel nice sometimes to stick it to the haters, right? So, you know, we've had a good week this week with some of the stuff that's come out. I just haven't come on stream and made a big deal about it. You know, even on Twitter, I'm not posting as much. I've been kind of taking a step back because I know when Series 13 comes, I'm going to get a shitload of abuse, as I always do. It doesn't matter whether I praise this series coming up, I'm going to get abuse from people that support the channel. And look, it's already happened when I came out and said the trailer. I thought the trailer was decent. I've already gotten a bit of stick for that. So I'm going to get it from this side if I'm actually positive about Series 13 because it turns out to be good, right?
Yeah.
But if it turns out to be worse than what we're all expecting and I come out and I'm criticising it, sure, I'm going to get it in the neck off the other side as well. The only good thing that will come of all of that is that my views will shoot up, so don't really give a shit.
Just follow your heart, okay? If you say you like it and I don't like it, I'm going to say
that's what I mean. Look,
I'm not going to hold it against you.
I'm not
too short.
Look, I like the trailer, right? As I said,
that
doesn't mean that I'm saying that Series 13 is going to be excellent. But I'm willing to give it a go because, it is his last season. I've watched it from Series 11. There's no point in me giving up now. I might as well see it through. I know she's regenerating. We know she's leaving. We know he's leaving. There's no doubt about that. We do know that they're going. So now I can actually sit back and relax a little bit more this year and actually go in with an open mind and watch it. And that's what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to do from now on with every single show or movie or TV show that we review on this channel, right? Because I've noticed there's too much negativity out there, right? And I was part of that as well. I'm not going to lie, and I didn't do it deliberately.
Come on, no, 10 years ago, critics 10 or 15 years ago, it looks like you like a Star Trek or a Star Wars movie. What would they do? First thing they do is slag it off.
Exactly.
And now it's got the opposite way around. Oh, it's gone from it was a bit shallow and it was shallow and a bit dull to, oh my God, that's the best thing ever because it had diversity in it. Yeah. Wow.
Like, listen, this is the thing, right? As I've said this from day one on this channel, you will always get, right, from me, an honest review. Because I've noticed there's a few echo chambers out there right now, and you know what, I'm not having a go, right? It was going to happen with our side. Right? It was always going to happen, right? Because we got into this negative cycle, including myself, right? We all got into this negative cycle. Now, are we justified? Yes. I think I was anyway. And I think a lot of the people that did their streams were justified as well. But sometimes, including myself, I nitpick for the sake of nitpicking.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that anymore.
We always do.
I'm sick and tired of it now. I've had the whole summer, right? And I've just watched people do that all summer, right? I've even left chats on Twitter. And as I said to the people, right, there's nothing against them personally, right? I'm still friends with everybody. I was just sick and tired of seeing the negativity all the time. That's why you look up on my Twitter account now lately, right? You see I'm putting a lot of pictures up and fun stuff. But I am also making some comments and stuff that interviews that Jody did and what Chibnall said, and I threw stuff up like that, and I've thrown a few polls up. But I'm not really engaging with people as much as I used to, i.e. the other side. I've kind of stopped that all completely. I feel much better within myself now since I've started to do that. And while people are probably right now, because I brought up that I'm changing the panels around a little bit. Listen, it's not because I don't want all yous on. I love yous all. But I do need to change up and make it fresh because like Doctor Who, it can get a bit stale. So you have to shake things up a little bit. I'm making the panels smaller as well. So the likes of when a Jack comes on, right, that doesn't really talk that much, or an Alpha Omega, right? They're not being overpowered by myself or any of the other guests. They get a chance and they're equal time to talk. And that's why I want to do this. And I've wanted to do this for a long time, but every time I've tried to, there's been a bit of a pushback or changed my mind because too many people are moaning. I'm not going to take people moaning into account. It's still my channel, and I'll decide who's on the panels. And that's just it. It's I'll decide who's on the panels, and that's the way it is. And I have to change things because we got a lot of stuff coming up. As I said, we've got, as I said, we've got. I'm going to be doing Lost in Space because the final season. I'm going to be reviewing that. I will be doing season 1 and 2. At some stage, I will do a review. So it means I'll have to go back and binge watch yet again. But I don't mind doing that. But I'm going to be doing that. Then The Orville comes out as well in March. We've got new movies as well coming out over the Christmas and next year that I'm looking forward to. So, I've got to, I'm going to be mixing things up big time. Because, as I said, we need, as someone said, new energy. Just mix it up a little. That's it. Right. I've got a couple of more people that want to come on. So what I'll do is send them the link. And then, as I said, we'll stay on for another 20 minutes, half an hour or so. And then we'll leave it there. Because, as I said, bar the Alec Baldwin news and the Doctor Who stuff. And I've seen, as I said, I don't think many people have seen Chucky on this side of the pond. So there's no point of really talking about Chucky. I just wanted to give my opinion on it. Right, hold on, there he is. So we
Mate,
got.
I've just seen Cobra Kai, so there we go. I'm so far behind, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I have to start watching that. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't.
That is amazing. It's one of the
Listen,
best
I have to be
spin-offs
in
I've
the
seen.
humor. But this is the thing. I have to be in the humor. It's the same with Squid
Yeah.
Game. I haven't watched that yet either. And Cheryl keeps hounding me and annoying me to watch it.
Yeah.
But I did catch up on all the seasons of Young Sheldon that I missed. I have to be in the humor, and if I'm not in the right frame of mind, you know, then
Let's
I
just
won't.
say about Cobra Kai, it put me in the right frame of mind. That's how good it was.
Well, I'm glad it's good. I'm glad it's good. So hold on. Someone else said they wanted to come on. I think it was Josh.
Yeah.
Just want to check and make sure I still have that email address. So I'll go into the chat there.
They're on Facebook, they said.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just checking. I'm just getting it now, mate. I'm just right. So we'll just. Oh yeah. Hold on. I think it's. I'm just getting your email address from the chat because there's so many email addresses on it. I forget because you know me, your memory. So yeah, I just can't believe the fandom. Look, the sooner the RTD era starts, and I know there are people that are kind of annoyed at him right now, which is fair enough. As I said,
apprehensive about it, but I'm looking forward.
As I said, you know, those people have a right to be outraged if they are outraged. It's just for me personally, I'm just going to judge him on his writing for Doctor Who. Because his comments, in fairness, and this might sound a bit bad, but it is the truth. While his comments are offensive to the people that he aimed the comments at, they're not offensive to me, you know, because he wasn't aiming those comments at me. So I can understand the anger from people that are upset with him, but at the end of the day, my job is to basically judge him on his writing for Doctor Who, and that's what I will be doing. Again, as I said, this is what I'm going to be doing, and this is what I have done over the last few years. I try not to get. There you go. So, hold on.
You try to separate the art from the artist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, we can't do that with Chib. Yeah, probably Chibnall, we couldn't do that because of his previous comments. You know.
Listen, at the end of the day, right? There's a lot of stuff that actors, actresses, directors, and producers, writers have said over the years. This is not a new phenomenon, right? But what is a new phenomenon is that people now, for example, I seen it even today, right? Someone came out and some celebrity came out and made some comment, and then someone says, well, I'm not going to watch their movie now. Right? Now, that's ridiculous. Because number one, you haven't seen their movie. Number two, you know, you're judging a movie based off their personal comments. Now, I know a lot of personal ideology does get into these movies, and I can understand that there is some criticism in regards to that, right? But I think we have gotten to a stage where we're not separating the artist's comments from their body of work. You know what I mean? They seem to mash them all in. Well, Arnold made those comments a few months back, right? Don't agree with them personally, but am I going to stop watching Terminator, Terminator 2, Predator? Am I going to stop watching all of those movies all of a sudden? No, because I love his movies. I don't, what he said personally, I didn't like, but I love his movies, so I'll watch his movies. And this is what's happening now.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. And it's
Things are
happening
becoming
with Batman
polarized.
and Robert Patterson right now, because Robert Patterson has made some comments a few months back where he wasn't going to buff up and he said some shit that he shouldn't have said. And all of a sudden now, people are judging because he was, and also judging him because he's in the Twilight saga as well, by the way. I need to add that. So because he was in that, because he made some comments, people are already saying, oh, he's going to be a shit Batman. The movie's going to be crap. Didn't like the trailer. Oh, look at the way Batman punched there. Oh, it's a real emo. He's an emo Batman. All of this crap. You haven't seen the movie. You've seen 2 trailers, and you're judging them off the fact of comments he made, and because he was in a certain franchise that you don't like. That's no reason not to like a movie, right? How do you know? Heath Ledger. I remember when he got the Joker role.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy from Brokeback Mountain, what he is doing, absolutely stupid casting. What he is doing, disgraceful it is. Disrespecting the
Best
Joker.
Joker ever, yeah.
Won an Oscar, blew us away, right?
Yeah,
Ben
best
Affleck
Joker ever.
was the same as Batman. Oh no, Ben Affleck's the Batman. No way, he's a shark. I don't know why you have him as the Batman. Blew us away.
Yeah.
Like Christian Bale, same thing. People criticised him. Brilliant, right? Michael Keaton, same thing, right? I grew up during that era. People were absolutely livid when he got the Batman role. They were livid. They were Michael Keaton as Batman. Have you lost your minds? All of this rubbish. What happened? Blew us away, right?
Yeah.
So,
same thing with Matt Smith.
I'm not saying that Robert Patterson's going to do the same thing, right? But what I'm saying is people need to take a step back, relax, take a fucking chill pill or 2, and wait until you see the movie. And if it's turned out to be right, then fair enough. Do these little videos with your smug little smiles on your face saying, "Oh, we were right all along. All you people that defend the Batman are a bunch of doubts." But wait.
Yeah. I did the same with Matt Smith. I thought, oh God, it's a time lad. Why would we get someone so young? And he blew it away by the second episode. He was a doctor.
Yeah.
So don't judge a book by a cover.
Ruby Rose, obviously, because we're talking about Batman, someone just brought it up. So she's not being called out because she tried to say that the Batwoman environment was toxic, and then Warner Brothers and her cast have come out and said, well, number 1, it's Lois, and number 2, she was the toxic one. So Ruby Rose not happy. She's not happy. See, she took this role of Batwoman. She thought this was going to be a platform, like Jodie Whittaker, thought it was going to be a platform for bigger and better things, and it hasn't quite worked out.
She's a bit of a nut, that Ruby Rose, I have to say.
Yeah. Actually, she is in a movie that I do like, believe it or not. She's in that movie, The Meg, with Jason Statham, and I don't really like it. But I watched that movie, and it was actually a good shark movie, I have to say. And she was actually good in it. Ruby Rose is in that movie, and she's not bad. But yeah, the fact that she's being called out now by all our co-stars is fucking wonderful to see. Get away, you toxic piece of crap. Yeah? Something you want to add to that?
Oh, not to her, no. So remember Peter Scolari, Tom Hanks' sidekick in Bosom Buddies?
What about him?
Where they lived, it was in the 80s, they dressed up as women to live in a...
Yeah.
He died of cancer.
Oh, okay. That is sad.
Yeah. No, Ruby Rose is being called out by everyone.
Yeah, good. She deserves it. She's a stupid...
Are you staying with my dad?
No, Mommy? Cold, Mommy.
Or you're not going to show him off?
He doesn't want to be shown off. You want to say hello to everybody?
Say hi to everyone, Teddy. Come here.
Do you want to say hello?
People want to see. Oh, look at him.
Come here.
Come here. He doesn't want to. Yet he jumps up on the chair so he can.
There you go. Look who it is, folks.
Hey, Ted.
Ready.
Happy. Look at me. Oh, I'm grumpy. Grumpy. Mwah. Yeah. Right, come on.
I gave some kitty.
Now, let's bring on our next 2 guests because we got about half an hour left. Yeah, half an hour exactly. We're at the hour mark. So let's bring on our 2 guests. We got Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Actually, we'll do that again. We got Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There you go.
Second time's a charm.
You're pushing the wrong buttons again, isn't he?
And we've got Josh joining us as well.
Hey, Josh.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Right, that looks a bit weird. Hold on, I need to change something here. Right, so you two non-avatar, you two non-camera people are on the bottom, and me and
He's
Josh.
being cameraist.
Me and Josh.
You istophobe.
So, guys, obviously, you've been listening to what we've been talking about for the last hour. So we'll start with you, Josh. Is there anything in particular that you want to pick up on and give your opinion on?
Wow, yeah, it's been such a heavy news week. And with all that's going on, just a quick thing about the Alec Baldwin. Yeah, you know what? We saw once that he was, there's a whole life involved. And we see one segment of him screaming at the daughter or something, and we judge him by those 2 minutes. I wouldn't be so quick to do that. I think this whole thing was a tragic accident. It's very sad. I think there needs to be investigation. Someone needs to be accountable.
Yeah.
Don't think that's going to be, it shouldn't be Alec Baldwin, for sure not. Because if he knew there was a live round, there's no way he would fire it.
The gun would have exploded.
There was, there's so many things. I had an interesting thought about the Doctor Who. I'd be interested in your thoughts on this and everyone else in Charlotte's. When she was mentioning that, it's RTD's company and, where nobody's used to. Now, I want to just float an idea into the ether and get your thoughts. Back then, when he started out, we had the Doctors Who stuff that we were used to. And then we were like, okay, he added his own thing, but then he didn't go ahead and make it crazy or go in directions. But is it possible? I just want to float this idea out there that, okay, I wouldn't have done such and such before, but now that the ceiling has been broken, now that we've had Jodie, now that we've had a woman, now we can go crazy. Like, I'm just, it may not be.
So what you're basically saying is that, while RTD has worked on the show and he was progressive, right? He kind of was, he'd rein it back a little bit. But now that the glass ceiling has been broken and now they cast a woman and anything is possible. Yeah, I think your point you're trying to make is that, well, does that mean that, RTD might take the shackles off and start doing some ridiculous stuff? Is that what you're worried about?
Yes, it's a valid concern.
Yeah, and nobody brought it up before, so I have to be honest. It is a valid point to make. Judging by comments that he's made recently, judging by just these comments, I would say you're probably onto something there. But again, until we kind of know who he casts and we see what kind of idea he's come up with, then we'll kind of have some idea. But that's a good valid point, guys. What do you think of that, PD? What do you think? Does he make a valid point there?
Yeah, it's a valid point. It's a little niggle in the back of my head for this one. But then again, it could have always been what we call lovey talk.
Yeah,
they all do it. They all like pander to a certain organization, even though they can't stand this organization. They just do it because just for the sake of it. Oh, I'm part of this community. I've got to pander to that community. Right. It could be, but it's also worrying me, and I do agree with Josh on that one.
Cinnamon, what do you think? Good valid point there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I agree. It's something it's a fair point to raise. I agree. I think when you see somebody else do something, you sort of like. Maybe you think to yourself, it gives me the freedom to sort of do it as well. But correct me if I'm wrong. When Russell wrote It's a Sin in Years and Years, those were his shows, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that with those being his shows, and it would have been about the gay life in the 80s, I believe. Not that I've watched it. I would have thought that something like that, it would be his platform to perhaps voice any concerns, or if he wants to pander to any crowd, that would be the option to do it. Where I think with Doctor Who, he's a little bit more grounded, and there were perhaps there were lines that maybe even Russell wasn't cross. So maybe he'd do it in certain shows like Years and Years and It's a Sin, because he can get away with it then. and because it's the
Yeah.
gay scene, and you can maybe panned
Well,
out. It could be
these were
progressive in
stories
that.
that were personal. He did actually say that these were stories that were personal to him and that needed to be told. And I actually think you're onto something there as well. I
Yeah.
think Doctor Who, he does think of Doctor Who differently. He knows that there's a certain way that the show must be written, and he knows. I think he does know the limitations of what he can bring up and what he can't on Doctor Who. And as you said yourself, he's kind of got those stories out of his system now, so there'd be no need for him to start doing that with Doctor Who. I'm not saying that he won't. We don't know. Nobody knows that yet, right? We haven't seen who he's cast yet. We haven't heard his forced interview, his proper forced interview to get an idea of what he's thinking and what we might get in the future. Because that's one thing about RTD. You know, even after the first interview, you know, he'll leave little. You have to read between the lines when you listen to an RTD interview or read an RTD interview, because he's actually dropping hints, and he does that quite a lot. So it'll be interesting to see, obviously, what he's going to do. But I think he has got those. These were stories that were close to his heart, and he got them out of his system. And he did actually say that Doctor Who is one of the most difficult shows to write for, because there is certain limitations. But Josh, I can see you're itching to get in there and to say something there. Would you like to add something to that, or have you got?
You know what? It's, again, we're at the precipice. It can go in any number of ways. I think Chibnall has done so much damage to the show. I mean, you know, I love the classic show. I love New Who, but I mean, it wasn't perfect.
No, New Who was never perfect. Was it? Or Classic Who, for that matter.
But the nice thing about Classic Who is, you know, they had 26 seasons. They had never mentioned sexuality, nothing to do with it. There was no, and it was a fine show. So, and now New Who, oh no, we got to have all the emotions and this and that and the other. It's like, really? But they still made it work for a while. And then the woke elements come in, and I thought, oh no. I mean, I just, I don't know. I mean, this is since I was on last. It's been released here, the James Bond film. And everyone was worried about it, and I loved it. I mean, the ending obviously is controversial.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Please don't spoil it. Please.
Okay,
please,
I won't. But I will recommend you see it. Daniel Craig is amazing. I love his interpretation of Bond, and it's fantastic. So
do I. Listen, I'm gonna say it. Daniel Craig's Bond, I've loved every second of it. It's just, I will say, I think the franchise was a little bit derailed by Quantum of Solace, but he did get it back with Skyfall. I did love that one, and then Spectre was a bit uneven, but yeah, I'm gonna watch the end of his run. I always watch every Bond, so I will get around to it. I just haven't had the courage right now. I have heard a few things, but I've tried to put them in the back of my head. Someone did kind of spoil the ending of the movie, but just in case anybody in the chat hasn't seen it, I don't want it to be spoiled. Someone accidentally spoiled it for me. They didn't mean to, but I was rightly pissed off. I have to be honest.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but what's funny is you normally can't spoil a James Bond movie because you know what you're going to get. You're going to get the gadgets and the chases and the villain. But this one can be spoiled. But I think but there's two major whoa factors. But having said that, this was my second favorite Craig film, only second to Casino Royale, which will always be my favorite.
So you think it's better than Skyfall?
Personally, yes. I never understood the hype and the acclaim that Skyfall had. I think it was better than Skyfall.
Really? Wow, I've never heard anybody say that about Skyfall. We should have a conversation about that sometime, actually, to see where you sit on that, because I think it's one of the best Bond movies ever made, to be quite honest. But it just goes to show you, though, doesn't it, Josh? Like, you're a Bond fan, I'm a Bond fan, and we'd have our different favorite movies of all time.
But
You
that's
know
the
what I mean?
beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Like we
Yeah.
can both love Doctor Who and like
Yeah.
different doctors, different stories. I mean, I was born into the Roger Moore. He was
Yeah.
also, and because I knew him also from The Saint. I mean, that happened before I was born. But I just quickly, I'll tell you the story. It's very interesting because when I was still living in England as a kid, and it was, I'm going to date myself here, and Roger Moore was Bond, and Moonraker was coming out.
Oh,
And
jeez, I hate that movie.
my parents loved James Bond, and they miss it. My mom hates science fiction, and she got it into her head that Moonraker was sci-fi, and she didn't want to go see it. So my dad wanted to see it. He didn't want to go alone, so he took me, and it was my first Bond film. I must have been about 7 or 8, and I loved it, and I never missed one since. So that was my start into the franchise. I caught up. There was only one Bond film I hated, and that was Brosnan's last one with the invisible car.
Fucking Die Another Day. Yeah, that has to be. Look, I have a soft spot for it, but I do agree with you. It's awful on every single level. But what makes it good is the fact that it is that awful. Don't get me wrong, right? I was a bit sour the way Pierce Brosnan was fired. And they were thinking of rebooting it with him at the time. Because they were going to reboot it with him. They were actually going to keep him on. But then they decided, no, we'll go with a new actor, and they got rid of him. He ended up doing The Matador, right? If you haven't seen the movie, The Matador, you have to watch it. It's basically him playing James Bond, but with a nervous breakdown. He's a hitman in it. And he gets involved with this couple, becomes friends with them. And it's one of the most hilarious movies I've ever seen. But I love the fact he did that because he was taking a swipe at the Bond producers because they had sacked them unfairly, in my opinion. It wasn't his fault that Die Another Day was such a fucking awful movie. That wasn't down to him. I mean, he acted the way he always acted. So, you know, you can't blame him for that. And I don't, but Die Another Day is fucking awful. I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of another. I didn't like Moonraker either, but if I had to sit down and watch a James Bond movie and it was between Die Another Day or Moonraker, I have to say I'd pick Die Another Day.
I'd probably pick Moonraker, but that's me.
I picked Die Another Day because it's just so hilariously bad. It's just so bad. But I will say there is one good scene in that whole movie is when Halle Berry is coming out of the sea. The sea where she walks up in the same kind of gear that what's her face decades before her.
Andress,
right. Yeah, so that was a good part. But other than that, I did like the car. I have to be honest, but I didn't like the reflective shit. But I did like the DB.
Please,
I did like the Aston Martin. I did like those new DB. What was it? DB9, wasn't it? I think it was the DB9. I do love those cars. But I hope now when they obviously this whole franchise is going to get they've already said that it's going to be it won't be a TV show out like that. There will be a movie. It'll be rebuilt.
But I will recommend another film because Daniel Craig now he's going to do the Knives Out, and the first Knives Out was amazing, and he's hilarious, and he plays this Texan-like detective, and he's fantastic. So if you haven't seen that, check it out.
Yeah, the Rian Johnson haters, I remember at the time when that movie came out, they begrudgingly came out and praised it, even though they didn't want to. You could tell that they didn't want it. But I heard that is a good movie and there is going to be a part 2. I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to make any comment on it. But for me, Sean Connery was the definitive Bond. I know people grew up with Roger Moore. I grew up with Roger Moore, but I think at that, I didn't like... It got too cheesy for me, to be honest. And then near the end of the Pierce Brosnan run, that's what happened. They brought back the cheese with extra fucking cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they went the opposite direction with the Daniel Craig Bond. They wanted Daniel Craig's Bond to be kind of like the Bourne Identity, right? But James Bond on a bigger scale with James Bond. Some people will argue that it worked other people will argue that no, James Bond should be like the Roger Moore Bond or the Sean Connery Bond. People will always have their opinions. But for me, he was a good James Bond. You know, he got a bit of criticism when he first took the role because, you know, the light hair, they were saying, oh, the light haired Bond and all of this. But Casino Royale is a fucking epic movie. If you don't like Casino Royale, there's something bleeding wrong with you. That was a masterpiece.
What sums up James Bond for me is in Skyfall. Okay, he jumps onto the back of the train and gets ripped off, and the first thing he does is adjusts his cuff.
Yeah,
and that is such a Bond moment.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's all about being suave. It's yes, I'm a spy, but I'm cool and I'm suave. And
yeah,
people don't sometimes they don't understand the reading between the lines. That whole interchange between him and Silva when you know, oh, they think he's gay. No, he's not gay. He's comfortable with his own sexuality, not to be like that's like he owns it, and that's what the role was about. And in this film, you haven't seen it, but there's nothing to worry about the woke factor. They try to, but they actually say, oh, you know what? You know, there's a moment where he's like, okay, you're the main person here, not me. So I'm not going to explain that because you haven't seen it, but I'm like, wow. But when you see it, you'll understand.
You know, I'm glad that for some people out there, Daniel Craig's Swan Song actually wasn't as bad as people thought it was going to be, and I'm glad for that because, you know, for me, he is a good Bond. I will miss him. He did get quite emotional. If you've seen that video, he does get quite emotional when they're wrapping up and he's saying thank you to the cast and the crew, saying it's been a wonderful part of his life. He really is, but I think the comment that I did love was, though, where he was on an interview and they were asking him who should be cast and all of this. He says, I don't care who is cast, just don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Which I thought was like, you know, yeah, I love that. Look, whoever they do cast, right, it's going to be a bloke anyway because it's already been, you know, Daniel Craig then kind of reversed these comments where a few years back he was saying quite possibly Bond could be a woman or anybody could play Bond, but he has recently come out now, whether it's to save face or he genuinely believes this, but he actually has come out and said that the next Bond should be male, that it is a male role, and I agree. It's written in the books. You know, you're not gonna you're not gonna change shit because you want to further women within the film industry. If you want to do that, then come up with an original spy character that's female and call it something else.
They have
James Bond is like the most manliest of roles that has ever graced our screens, really.
Look, in the Daniel Craig one, I'm not gonna lie. They have tried to change his character to a certain extent, and I'm not going to lie, you know, what I did like about Daniel Craig's Bond out of all of the Bonds was there was a vulnerability about his Bond.
Yeah.
Right? From day one, from Casino Royale, there was, when Vespa died, right, he was vulnerable, right? He'd lost someone that he actually really loved. She tricked him, you know, she got the better of him, but you know, he was vulnerable. That's what I've liked about. That's what I always liked about his Bond, is that he was vulnerable. He wasn't, you know, all of the things that we know Bond to be. He had that vulnerability about him, which left him open. You know, especially in Casino Royale. Look at the scene where he's poker and he gets poisoned. You know, he's letting his emotions, his head get the better of him. You know, where he's not being level-headed and he wants to be fucking the chief so fucking bad that he's making mistakes along the fucking way. Well, I love these Bond. He's gonna be missed. I will miss him, but it is time for a change because, you know, he's done his movie.
Move on, yeah.
I just hope they pick the right actor though. That's my thing. It's not Tom Hardy. I'm sorry. I know people would love to see Tom Hardy as James Bond. He's not James Bond in my opinion.
I'd love to see Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston, don't see him as Bond either.
Yeah, they'll pick someone weird.
I would give it to, if he's not going to be Superman anymore, there's only one person to take over as far as I'm concerned, and that's Henry Cavill. That's
I
who
agree.
we
That
want
would be a good one.
to
Yeah,
be
he would be
the
good.
next James Bond. I thought he was considered when they were casting Daniel Craig, so he was considered before they cast Daniel Craig, but obviously he was
British?
too young. Yeah, he was Superman.
Is he
I bet they
British?
give it to Henry Cavill though.
Is he British?
Henry Cavill.
Yep,
He was.
yep.
Henry Cavill was originally, he was
Geralt
one
Rivia.
of the options before they went with Daniel Craig. They wanted Henry Cavill for a long time, just like a few years back when Brandon, what's his name? But he did
Brandon
Superman.
Routh.
Yeah, Henry Cavill was actually originally one of the people that were slated for that movie. They were originally going to get him back then at that time to play Superman. But again, I think it was because he had other commitments that ruled him out. So they went with Brandon Routh, and then we all seen how that. Look, he was a good Superman. The movie was just fucking awful.
Yeah.
But Henry then did get the Superman role a few years later. So don't be surprised. Look, don't be surprised if Henry gets it. I'd love to see him get it. Yeah.
It's funny. I've never.
Look, if Lee says he tied with The Witcher, but listen, if Eon Studios come to him and say, "Listen, we want you to be the next James Bond," you can kiss The Witcher goodbye.
Yeah, pretty
Right?
much.
Right? Because what's the bigger franchise? James Bond. Every British actor dreams of playing Bond if they're good enough.
Gotta chase the money.
So he will. I think if they came coming to him and they said, "Henry, listen, we'd like you to play the next James Bond," he'll walk around it where if he still does The Witcher, but if not, he'll take that. Trust me, he will. He's not going to turn down playing James Bond. No actor in their right mind, if they're approached, will turn down this role unless they believe themselves that they're not ready or they're not good enough to play James Bond. And I do believe that he does have the body shape as well, but I do think he has the talent to play James Bond. And one of my favorite Bonds is Timothy Dalton, and I think him and Timothy are kind of quite similar in the way they act. So I wouldn't mind seeing Henry as James Bond. Can he do the cheesy though if they go back in that direction? Because we don't know which direction they're going to go with now. Are they going to go back to basics, or are they going to? Because they are going to look at this franchise is going to be rebooted either way. So, are they going to reboot it and go back to the original formula? Or are they going to reboot and go with a new formula, or stick with the one that the direction that they've been going with Daniel Craig and keep trying to make it a serious franchise? I don't mind a bit of comedy in it when it's done properly. There was never that in the Daniel Craig Bond. I don't mind, but if it gets too cheesy, I don't want it to go back to the cheese. I like it the way
it works. The formula works. It's very simple and straightforward. But I mean, so in Casino Royale, he had some. There were two Bond moments that defined him for me. The one is where he goes into the casino and he sees, and Le Chiffre has broken his cover. And he goes to Mr. Brown, and he says, "Oh, is it Mr. Brown or Mr. Bond? I forget. I get confused." And without missing a beat, Daniel Craig goes, "Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?" And then he just keeps on going. I was like, wow, that is all in control. And in the very end, when Vesper gives him up and he's chasing him, she goes into this place where she eventually dies. But instead of running in guns a-blazing, he looks through the slats and he sees where the people are. And it's like, oh, and then he goes in and shoots that guy. And that was an amazing scene to say he's always kept his head about him. And it was just so brilliantly done.
Yeah, I agree. It's, look, I do. I think she said now it's on a bit of a break for a while now. But hopefully we get some announcement next year if they've chosen their next James Bond. It'll be interesting to see who. Well, they always have the same kind of list of candidates. Same when with the Doctor Who fandom when we talk, it always seems to be the people named over and over again. But it'll be interesting to see if any new names are put forward and see where they go. But we got a few minutes left, so I just want to bring it back to, because obviously, you know, the new series of Doctor Who is coming back, so we can just bring it back to Doctor Who for a minute. But I want to ask Josh and Brandon your opinions on the comments that Jodie Whittaker made about obviously her leaving, and obviously the fact that she says that she believes that the show needs new energy. Now, the point that I've made is that, well, that was the whole point of your casting, love.
Exactly.
That it's gone stale. But I wanted to ask you guys, because we've had Piers Wenger also come out with comments saying that Doctor Who is going to be for the next generation and all this. So there seems to be all this talk of renewal, refreshing the franchise and all of this other rubbish. But I wanted to ask is what you thought of Jodie Whittaker's comments, because I find them quite hypocritical when she was, you know,
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
as the new beginning for Doctor Who, you know, it was to breathe fresh life into the franchise, also the fandom. But now, 3 series later, well, our third one hasn't dropped yet, she's saying that the show needs new energy. Josh, wanted to ask you, what do you think of those comments, for starters? And also, Chris Chibnall has actually admitted that he wanted to leave long before he's actually left as well. And I wanted to ask you about that as well, because their sources were saying that he wanted to go after Series 11. It turns out now he's actually not basically confirmed that he wanted to leave after Series 11, but he did say that he wanted to hand over the baton a lot sooner than what he did. I want to ask you about those. So go ahead.
In terms of what could have, what should have, it's all moot. It only matters what does happen and what did happen and what could happen and what will happen. And I'm just going to do a quick plug. I'm going to agree with Petey Rich that, I really believe also that Tom Hiddleston has a good shot at James Bond. I think he's a good one. But going back to your point, Noel, I don't really give much credence or pay much attention to what Jodie says. She's just, you know, in the ether. She's in, you know, I look at anything Jodie says through a woke lens. And, you know, it is what it is. She's going to say what she's going to say. New energy, she's just saying, oh, I've done this too long. That's all it means. And now it's time to hand it over. Do they have to necessarily blow it up? Well, I think they do to undo the damage. And Chibnall leaving, they're a package deal. I'm happy to see both of them go. Happy to see RTD come back. We're still at a crossroads. I'm holding my breath. I don't know what's next, but wow. I mean, if he's able to put it back on the map, more power to him. But, you know, as far as this, I mean, pun intended, I couldn't give a flux what Jodie has to say.
Brandon.
I don't know how she dares. I don't know where she gets the gall to even think about something like that. I mean, I agree. Every new era that we get is supposed to feel like a fresh start. You know, it's supposed to every year is supposed to feel different from the last one. Russell's era is different to JNT's era. JNT's era is different to Graham Williams' era. Every showrunner, or even every doctor for that matter, they all have their own unique feel. But I don't know why she complains about having new energy. The only thing we ever got from her era was negative energy, not positive. She shot herself in the foot from day one when she went out and attacked the fans and attacked the show.
Yeah.
For saying the classic era celebrated the white men's gaze. Not being funny, love, but you've already got a big job ahead of you trying to win over the fandom. And then when you go out attacking the show and saying that fans who, she basically said, oh, haters, or she said, I think she said it in multiple times on panels or interviews and stuff. Or the haters, or anyone who criticizes it or doesn't like it, or they're not the real fans, or something like that, as long as along those lines. I'm slightly paraphrasing there, but I don't understand it. So like I say, I'll pay no mind to what she says. I agree that I think he does need a new energy. He needs a fresh energy. He needs positive energy. It needs people who are going to be willing to be open mind. We've all suffered the past few years the absolute division and the divide this has caused us. I think we need to give Russell the benefit of the doubt. It's okay to have our doubts and our slight preservations, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
This is a new RTD. It's going to be different. It's a new Russell. He's older. He's maybe a little wiser. It's going to be it'll be a new Russell. So to expect or to assume that will be exactly like it was before, I think that's just not going to happen. I don't think, because he's a different man. I think it'll still be essentially similar, sure, because it'll be the same. At the end of the day, it's the same person, same writer. But the sooner we forget about this era and get that new energy, I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, as I said, very interesting times are definitely ahead. Again, I'll go back to Whittaker's comments. I mean, I just find them a bit, strange, because, it was, her casting was supposed to be this, glorious thing that was going to bring the show to a different level. Well, it definitely did all right. Not just not the level they thought, but it really went down in the estimation of the fans and the viewing public. But again, Chris Chibnall admitting wanting to go. Again, that's what baffles me about this whole situation, right? If he really wanted to leave long before, which we did report on this channel, and as I said, we got a lot of grief and stick and abuse for saying that he actually wanted to go and that he'd actually walked off set Chaos in Cardiff happened, and people were calling me a liar, and now he's basically, look, he's never going to come out and say Chaos in Cardiff happened, obviously. But the fact that he has said that he tried to hand over the baton a long time ago proves to me all along, and everybody that was saying it, right, you can all give yourselves a little tap on the back, because well done. Every single one of you said that this man wasn't the right man for the job, especially after we found out that he was originally offered to take Doctor Who and he turned it down. And then it tap in hand to him a few years later after Moffat goes, and he gets the job. It's baffled me. This decision will always baffle me. But Piers Wenger, I want to take a long, hard look at himself, because he was the man that ultimately convinced these two idiots to stay on longer than they should have, because he wanted to save his own face and his own career, right?
Yeah.
That was the wrong thing to do. If it was going wrong and you knew it was going wrong, instead, I know you are always going to publicly back it, but behind the scenes, changes should have been made, right? And I don't care which way you had awarded it, come out with a statement to save face for Chris Chibnall and yourself. I don't care. The decision should have been made way before it's being made now, because look at the situation we're in. Now, can RTD pull a rabbit out of the hat? We don't know yet. But I will say one thing is that it's going to be better than what we've gotten. The situation that we're going to be in, though, is Doctor Who fans going to like what he's going to do? And that'll be the big question that he'll have to answer. And it'll all start off with his casting first. People that will obviously critique his casting. Then when he does his first interview, as I said, proper interview, then we'll have some idea of what he has planned. And then, as I said, as the months go on, then we should start getting more and more information about what he wants to do. But look, I'm still excited, but I'm still cautiously optimistic, because, you have to have that bit of caution, because, recent history has taught us that, when we think changes are going to be made, we get some false hope, and then things don't pan out the way they're supposed to pan out. But what I'm told is that he's very excited to be back. He has a plan, and obviously, as I said, he wouldn't be coming back if he didn't have a plan. And then Piers Wenger basically confirmed it when he said he's a man with a vision. He's a man with a mission. But I will say this, very interestingly enough, is the fact that Chris Chibnall has actually admitted that in the very first episode, he's going to blow up the universe. Now, for anybody that's smart in this fandom, we already have predicted this anyway, because we're smart.
How far would he go?
When he came out during Series 11, he did an interview to say that the Root Doctor was not a parallel universe Doctor, right? Mm-hmm. But now he's coming out and saying that he's going to blow up the universe, right? This is him trying to fix the mess that he made, like I told you he was going to do. Remember, I told you that he was told to tidy it up and to fix it. This whole explosion of the universe is part of this. He is doing an alternative universe, right? It's all being confirmed now with his interview. That's what he's doing. So here's the question, and this is the final question I want to ask is this. Why has he changed his mind all of a sudden? Or why do you think he's changed his mind? I kind of know why he has. I think he was put under pressure from the BBC to change this mess. But why do you think all of a sudden? Because Series 11, he's adamant that there'll be no old villains and all that. He did a U-turn. And now he's doing a U-turn on this. Now, to me, that says this is a man that hasn't got a clue what he's doing anyway.
Yeah.
Right? That's the first thing. But why do you think, guys, that he has made this U-turn? And again, we'll start with you, Josh. Why do you think he's made this U-turn all of a sudden? Why do you think... Now, he has confirmed he's blown up the universe. So if he's blown up this universe, it can't be our universe that he's blown up. He's obviously blown up an alternative universe. Maybe Jodie Whittaker's Doctor is an alternative universe Doctor. What would you...
In the Matt Smith era, remember that you had to reboot the universe? It's been done several times. So when he's what happened? Remember when they put him in that box?
Yeah, the Pandorica.
Yeah, the Pandorica. That's right. And he had to reboot the universe. And in the end, with the name of the Doctor, when everyone was disappearing around him, then he had to reboot that. Chibnall is, I don't know, he's a troublemaker. He was forced to bring in, you have to go with your fan base and your money base. I remember years ago when I saw a concert with Boy George was coming to Toronto, and he was promoting his new album, and he's saying, I'm not going to sing any of the old songs. But then people weren't joining in, and it was very subdued. The moment he started to play some of his old songs, the crowd got involved. People know what they like. And if you start doing giving people what they don't like, the ratings will go down. It's just pure supply and demand.
Brandon?
I agree with that. That's a great point. I think sometimes in some communities, fans aren't always right. I think sometimes some fans don't always know what they want. But I agree with that in the sense that, there is it's like a business. You got to treat it like a business. Is there demand of it? Yes. Is it in high demand? Then, keep supplying it. You make business. If it's popular and it's what people want, where's the issue in supplying it? When I heard the news of when he said there was going to be no new monsters, I was slightly disappointed. Only slightly, because I thought, okay, that means we won't see Jodie fight a Dalek, or at least not until then. At that point, we didn't know about the special yet. At least I didn't. But I thought, okay, well, fair enough. Let's see what new monsters he comes up with, and then we get the Bating. The less said about that, the better. But sorry, what was the original question again?
Don't forget the talking frog either.
That was the worst
and
bit.
Tim Shaw.
Or the racist guy was another one as well.
Like we have seen in Classic Who, we've seen classic Who, like especially during the Tom Baker era. Tom Baker did 7 seasons, and the Daleks only appeared twice within those. So there was a period where like we didn't see them for a while, and like the show carried on. If anything, the show even 70s, and it gains the popularity. That was when it was probably at its highest. A lot of people would say, but when it comes to Chibnall, he's the spin master, isn't he? He's the Goebbels of Doctor Who. Says one thing, says another thing 5 minutes later, and then does another thing 5 minutes after that. It's 1 minute to 5 year plan, and now 1 minute he didn't want to take the job in the first place, and now he wanted to get out as soon as he got in. Nothing about this era ever screams productivity. Nothing's ever said, oh, they dress it up in fancy words, and they'll say behind the scenes and in interviews, oh, it's a family relationship, oh, we've had a great time. Yeah, mate, well, from the leaks and from your sources and from what we've been told and what we've heard, that tells a different story. You forgive me if I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. I just can't wait for his era to be over. I feel like there's so many questions that he's still yet to answer. The whole Ruth thing, is she a real doctor? Is she not? We've known nothing. And after seeing that teaser trailer, obviously we know we've not watched any episodes yet, but I would assume that maybe Sacha Dhawan's master and her doctor possibly could return at some point. But from what I've seen of that teaser trailer, nothing seems to suggest that nothing seems to be suggesting anything about that storyline. It's all just this flux thing, and all monsters are coming in probably because he's been told to chuck as many monsters in to save. Weeping Angels are coming back. We've got a boot that'll keep the fans happy. But I just feel like so many questions that are still being left unanswered, and I don't know where this Ruth Doctor thing is. I don't know where that's going yet.
Chibnall will hammer home his agenda. No retcon coming, folks. Sorry, you have to disagree because stuff that I've been told he will. And look, he's already admitted that he's blown up the universe, so he'll have to fix that. And I'm telling you, he will make it. The Timeless Child will still be Jodie. It won't be Jodie either. Jodie's Doctor will not be the Timeless Child. Not for what I've been hearing either. Look, he's been told to tidy it up and fix it. This whole blowing up the universe is part of that. If you even look at the teaser trailer, whatever you want to call it, it looks a bit like the War Games mixed with some other stories there. He is trying to fix his mess. I think it's going to be either the Master, or it's going to be either Rassilon or someone else that's the Timeless Child, but it won't be the Doctor. It won't. I just know it won't. And again, as I do say to people on here, you should really listen to my sources, not me, but listen to me sources, because they've been, again, this year been spot on. And Chris Chibnall coming out and doing that interview this week was actually great, because it confirmed everything that we were saying about chaos in Cardiff and all of this other stuff, because he did want to leave a long time before he actually left. And I've been telling people this from day one, and nobody would listen to me. He is going to fix this. RTD is not, as some people say, they won't come back unless he retcons it. RTD will have nothing to do with this. RTD's era then will probably totally ignore what's happened beforehand, and it'll be like, I won't say a full-blown reboot, but it'll probably be like Matt Smith's, a soft kind of reboot, and he'll continue and do his own stories. That's what I've been told, and that's what I believe is going to happen. And with Chibnall being given the brief that he has to keep the show, he has to kind of put it back in a more healthier state than what it's in now, suggests to me that it has to be done, because they don't want RTD to have too much work. You remember, someone came on this channel and told you out straight that this was a full-blown rescue mission, that money would be no object. We've already heard about Bad Wolf and Sony. There could be unlimited funds. The different technology, the technology that they use on The Mandalorian, apparently they're going to be using on Doctor Who. Listen, you know, with RTD's writing, let's hope he can, you know, give us a second golden era. That's what we're all hoping. But if his writing is anywhere up to the level that it was even back in 2005, we're onto something a lot better than what we've gotten over these last few years. So I think they'll BBC or BBC Studios, Bad Wolf Productions, they'll want that show in a certain state before they take over. Because if we were to get more of the same from Chris Chibnall's Series 13, doesn't matter. You could bring back Jesus Christ and you're not saving this fucking show. You're not. So he has to fix it. And I do believe he will fix it. That's what I've been told. And I do believe it will, because my sources haven't led me astray so far. So I have no reason to doubt them right now. Unless I get something that tells me anything any different, I'm going to believe my sources, because they have been genuine and spot on. So if they're telling me that he has to tidy this up and fix it, sort it out, he will tidy it up, fix it, and sort it out. So we will just have to wait and see. But PD, I'll let you have the last word, because we're going to finish up now. But I mean, we're nearly there now. Next week, it all kicks off.
Yep.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon he'll fix it? Do you reckon he won't?
I reckon he's got no choice but to fix it. I think people are so annoyed about all these changes and everything, including the BBC, especially BBC Studios. He's going to have to fix it. He's going to have to fix everything. He's going to have to wrap everything up, or else he's just, or else it's just going to have to. Russell's going to have to fix it, or ignore it, if you know what I mean.
I don't see. This is the thing. I think if he has his own vision, right, and this is just for me. If I was in RTD's place, I wouldn't want to come in to have to fix what the
clean someone else's mess up,
one, because I have my own vision, I have my own direction. So this is why I don't believe that he's going to have anything to do with this. Don't get me wrong, don't be surprised though, and I'm just throwing it out there, right, because this is just a little thing that I have in my own head. For all we know, he could have had a hand in helping Chris Chibnall do Series 13, but he won't get the credit. We don't know, right? He could have been, because very interested at the interview when it was announced that they said that this decision was made a long time ago, right? So I'm just saying, maybe RTD came in as a shadow writer to help Chris Chibnall fix his own mess. Now, I could see that happen, right? But I can't see RTD come out himself when he starts his new era to retcon it. Maybe he helped them behind the scenes with Series 13.
Yeah, help steer
figure some of these things out and fix it. And with Maxine Alderton being the best of the bunch that they had, he's roped her in as well. And between the three of them have probably fixed, or to their best of their ability anyway, fix this whole thing. And maybe this whole blown up the universe could have been an RTD idea for all we know.
Yeah, probably.
You know? And
I think you might be onto something.
Let's fix it this way. We'll blow up the universe. We'll say that this doctor and that doctor is an alternative universe doctor, and the timeless child is such and such a character. Bang. There you go. Done. Yeah. Let's move on.
Does
Josh,
sound like RTD.
Josh, I'll give you last word. You wanted to add something, Josh. Go on.
No. I just said I don't want to interrupt, but I do have to go. I'm invited to a neighbor for dinner. It's a different time zone here. It's 6:30.
Oh, so nice. What you having?
Go, my friend. You go.
We're gonna see, but I'll let you know next time. And it's always a pleasure. Have a great weekend.
Nice chat with Josh.
We'll be in touch.
No problem. Next time you'll see us will be deep, heavy, and Series 13 reviews. So
okay.
Hope to get your opinion if you're watching, and see what you have to say. Well, listen, thanks for coming on. You enjoy our meal, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one. Thanks, folks.
You too. Never trust Chibnall. That's all I can say. Believe you're sincere, Noel, but I have been told different. That's fair enough. I don't know who told you different, but that's fair enough. But all I will just say is that all of the stuff that I've been told so far about what was coming up. So far, we've got a probably 95% hit rate so far, and there's still more stuff that we talked about that hasn't even come out yet, because obviously the series hasn't started, and then people will see then if other stuff that I said comes true. But I did tell people the Sontarans were coming back, you know. I did. There's a lot of stuff that we've actually predicted that's happened. So we'll just have to see. And we won't have to wait long now, because next week is when it all kicks off. And I will be here with a panel, and we will be discussing the episode. So obviously the episode, and again, another thing, not that I needed sources to tell me anyway. I figured this one out by myself anyway. So everybody was speculating what time Doctor Who would be on, and some people were even suggesting that was moving back to Saturday. And you know, while that could be still on the cards for the RTD era, by the way, it could go back to a Saturday night RTD. But as I said, they were going to stick it between Countryfile and Strictly, and that's exactly what's happened. Doctor Who will air at 6:25, I think, next week. So it's sandwiched in between the two most popular shows on a Sunday. Now, someone asked me, is Sunday a big night for TV? No. Friday nights and Saturday nights, especially Saturday nights, are classed as prime time television. So if you have, on a Saturday night, if your show is sandwiched between 6 and 9 p.m. on a Saturday night, you've got the prime time slot. It's a coveted slot in between those. So any shows that are in between that timeline are in the coveted prime time Saturday night slot. Now, when RTD was here, and of course Stephen Moffat, it was on the prime time slot. I do believe it needs to go back to a Saturday night, but that's just personal. And Christmas specials. Well,
they need to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, I want Christmas specials back, and I want Doctor Who Confidential back. I want the whole shebang back. And there's already talks before we leave tonight. There's already talks. Radio Times, actually, it was either a podcast or they did an article, and they were talking about Torchwood's return, right? Should Torchwood return when BBC Three officially launches? And it's quite interesting that this conversation is being had, because for the people that hate John Barrowman, what you don't realise is there's actually rehabilitation happening right now. He's all of a sudden he's gotten work. He's now ITV did drop him for the show that he was working on, but they gave him another show, which a lot of his haters are actually forgetting to mention. They did give him another show, his own show, where he's going to be presenter. All the Comic-Cons all of a sudden now are ringing him up, and they want him to be there. I said this, do not be surprised if Torchwood returns. Now, not while the fourth season of Doctor Who under RTD comes back. I reckon it'll be like it was the last time. It'll be the second or third season in, when he knows that the foundations of the show are strong again, before they even consider spin-offs. But I do believe that that's where we're heading, folks. It's going to be like the Marvel universe, except the Doctor Who universe. We are going to get spin-offs. It depends who now RTD and his team decide is worthy of a spin-off. Remember, we did get the Sarah Jane Adventures, and we did get Torchwood, and we got Class as well. Now, I know Class didn't do too well, but they will be considering all of this. They want to make Doctor Who big. They want it to appeal to a mass audience. They want the universe to appeal to a mass audience. So they will expand. They will have spin-offs. It's just a matter of when it actually happens. There are huge plans, because money is going to be no object now. Especially if Sony take over Bad Wolf Productions. If that takeover happens, the money is unlimited, and there will be, and I can guarantee you then, there will be spin-offs. The universe will be expanded on. Torchwood may return. You could even get an Ace series. You could get a War Doctor series. Well, not a War Doctor, Paul McGann series. You could get, you know, the possibilities are endless. You might even get the Doctor's daughter, Jenny. She might have now, because she still looks the feckin' same. That woman hasn't aged.
Yeah.
You can bring her back as feckin' Jenny and have a spin-off that fans wanted back in the day. And as I said, on top of that, then you have Doctor Who Confidential, and they did have a Torchwood Confidential as well.
Declassified, yeah.
It was on the discs.
Declassified.
Yeah. So look, plenty of stuff to come if they get this right. Shit tons of money to be made if they get this right. And on top of that, bring in sci-fi fans, bring in, you know, newer sci-fi fans that, you know, because let's be honest, this RTD, this Chris Chibnall era has embarrassed this show. Let's try bring back some respectability. And I think that's why RTD was chosen, to bring back some respectability to Doctor Who, because under him, you weren't afraid to come out and say you were a Doctor Who fan. It was nothing, you know, if you were a Doctor Who fan, you kind of kept that to yourself. It was kind of an embarrassing thing to admit that you're a Doctor Who fan. But under RTD and Stephen Moffat, I'll give him that as well. Everybody was proud to come out and say they were a Doctor Who fan. The 50th, we all with pride, you know, we're out there in the fandom. We were the most envious fandom at one stage. At one stage, the Doctor Who fandom was probably the least toxic out of all the fandoms. When the toxicity started coming in, Doctor Who fandom was doing pretty well. You know, under Moffat near the end, it did start to get a bit toxic with the feminists and stuff like that. But other than that, fans themselves were still treating each other with respect. But that obviously all changed when the Chris Chibnall era came about. And, you know, this is probably, actually, it's not probably, it is the most toxic fandom to be part of. So, you know, the show needs to go back to, you know, respecting itself and being respected. And it's the same with the fandom.
I mean, it was pretty toxic in the late 80s, you know, and JNT was like desperate to get out, but like Twitter and stuff wasn't
in the
around.
age of social media now, so you know, back in the 80s, obviously, yes, I do admit it was, but let's be honest, that they were on, you know, it was only toxic when you went to conventions, because that's where fans used to meet up. There was none of this, you know, online stuff. But now that it's online, it's more exaggerated. But you can also see how bad the Doctor Who fandom is. It is one of the worst fandoms. So, you know, self-respect has to be brought back. And that only happens when the show is respected again, when the writing is up to the standard. And then all of these toxic people, you know, they're still going on about not my doctors. You know, they can't let go. You know, this era.
They called me that on Twitter the other day.
They just can't let go, because they now see. The funny thing is, right, and I'll leave with this point. They say we're the toxic ones, right? But yeah, they've got so mixed up in attacking fans, and they've been so used to it for the last few years now, that they don't know how else to act now. So this new era now, for a lot of people, and especially some on their side that have kind of, as I said, gotten into the echo chamber and stuff, they're going to find it very hard to come out of that when the RTD era begins.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, same with the J-Bots. You know, they can't get over the fact that she's gone, right? And they just, you know, every day they're still calling out people. They just can't let go. It's time to let go. She's finished. He's finished. New era is going to begin. So you've got a choice to make. You either stop your toxicity, or, as I said, bye-bye. Don't let the door hitches on the way out, and take your doctor and take your showrunner and go where the sun don't shine. You're not welcome anymore. You know, the fandom has to The fandom has to change. It's not just a show. And it doesn't help when you still have people like you know who on his Twitter account still attacking people and having a go. You know, that all has to stop. You have to get over the fact that people didn't like this era. I'm sorry, right? He even took a bit of stick himself when he came out and he criticised the scene, and his fans, his followers didn't like what he had to say, and they called him out for it. And you know, I kind of chuckled and laughed myself because it's typical. He's pandered to these lot for the last 5 years, and now when he said something out of line, or they felt that was out of line, they went and they all attacked him. That's who you've been pandering to. That's how toxic this fandom is, and you got a taste of it yourself. So I hope that experience, which I doubt anyway, because I don't think you have the capacity to learn and grow, but hopefully you do learn and grow from it. It's never the right decision to pander for the sake of pandering. You know, you must always be honest and true with your convictions and your opinions. And if you're just pandering because you know it benefited you at the time and got your likes up and all of this, it's not going to help you for the RTD era if you continue to slander and attack fans like me. You know, you aren't doing yourselves any favors. We've moved on now. I don't really give a crap what you guys do. I have one more series to review and then our specials, and she's gone. After that, then I'm done with J-Bots. I won't be even bringing them up on the channel anymore. I won't be allowing it to be brought up. We're starting with a clean slate. Chris Chibnall's era will never be brought up again. I won't be talking about it. Once it's done, it's done. I'm moving on.
No point dwelling on the past.
No point. And I won't be dwelling on it. And I won't be comparing Chibnall's to RTD's there. We already know RTD is going to be a better showrunner.
If anything, I'd be comparing the new RTD's era with this old one.
With his old one, exactly. That's the comparison I will be making.
Exactly.
Because
that'd be more fair.
Because not only that, but it'll be interesting to see how he's changed and matured and grew.
Exactly.
You know, so that's the situation. Just one more word actually, because I've just seen it on Facebook there. Now, you don't need to worry, she's okay, but apparently Melina was in a bit of a car accident.
Yeah.
But she's grand, she's put up, she's fine. She says, don't worry, I'm fine. Just got out of the police station. It was his fault, and he admitted to the police. Very nice guy. This is the second time this year that someone crashes into my poor car. That was my mom's. I can't help but wanting to cry a little, but it's important thing is that everyone is okay, and I guess I still have a guardian angels looking out for me. So Melina was involved in a bit of a car collision, but she is okay. Nobody needs to worry. I'll probably be talking to her later on. I didn't play Fortnite the other night because I wasn't up to it, but I'm pretty sure she'll be on because it's the weekend and we'll probably have a game or two. So I'll have a word with her then. But she's fine. Just thought I'd let everybody know because Melina is obviously a very popular person on this channel, and we love having her on as well. But she is fine. She just wrote that up on Twitter a few hours back. Right, we're going to leave it there. I've gone an extra half hour more than I really wanted, but this is what happens when you have some great chat with people on the panel. So I just want to thank all my guests. Firstly, Josh, who left us a while ago. Enjoy your meal, mate. Brandon as well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And PD Rich. PD, just before I go, if you could throw in Daniel's channel and the panelists that we do have on Alpha Omega. You know, Daniel, who else? Real Super Doctor, the usual panelists, and
okay, well done.
And whatever channel you want to plug yourself as well, just throw in there as well. So I'll just talk for a few minutes while I wait for those links to go up, because obviously there you go, he's putting them up there. So Alpha's channel's there. I think he's on 97 subscribers now. So he did gain a few subscribers when I said he was trying to get to the 100 mark. So if you haven't subscribed to Alpha Omega's channel, the link is in the chat there. Please do subscribe to him. Let's get him to 100 subscribers. Daniel's channel is also in there as well. He's doing very well, actually. His channel is. Thank you, everybody that has subscribed to his channel. But go and check out his channel. Jack's channel is also up in there as well. Thank you, PD. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant to be back after 2 years. Brilliant show as always. As I always remember, as a family, we are glad to be back. Weighing that's Stephen McGarry. Yes, Stephen used to be here, but obviously some family issues creeped up. The last time he was actually here, his father had taken a heart attack, and that was the last time we'd actually heard of him. But he's back to tell his dad is fine, and he just sent me a message to say that he's back now. It's actually as well, I've noticed a lot of people that did disappear for a while because of the Whittaker era are starting to come back to the channel now, because obviously they know this is the last year now, and then the specials, but the RTD era begins. So I think people are interested to see how I'm going to react and stuff about the new era. But I am, as I said, quite optimistic. We got Lee's channel there as well, On Comics channel, and Rabbi from Another Planet's channel is also there. Real Super Doctor. So they're all in there, folks. If you haven't subscribed,
did I miss one?
Please do. Scottish Davros's channel. Well,
yeah, Daniel's is in there.
And we've also got Brandon's channel in there as well. I didn't see that. Sorry about that.
I think that's most of our panelists, our regulars.
Yeah, that's our panelist there. And you could throw up Melina's one, but I don't think she's doing that in it yet. But if you want to throw that one up anyway, I think she does do. She used to do streams on it. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. But listen, that's it, folks. So we'll be back tomorrow. Now, as I said, everything changes next week. So this will be the last weekend of Classic and New Who on the days that they're on, because things are going to be moved around next week. Now, by Tuesday night, or Wednesday, I should say, because I gave everybody till Wednesday, I will know who my panelists are for Series 13. Now, we got some new people that have sent me messages. I'm not ignoring these or anything. I'm just waiting to see who else is interested. And then what I'll do then is we'll see how many names we have, and we'll try and bring on, as I said, a mixed panel for Series 13. And it'll be the same panel, although that's what we do anyway. It'll be the same panel. So if you appear in the first one, basically what you're doing is you're making a commitment to stick around for the whole series. Now, I don't want people saying that they're willing to come on and then they do the first week and then the second week, then they decide that they don't want to do it anymore. I want committed people. And as I said, I never mentioned this, I think, but even if you are a fan and you're willing to behave yourself and you'd like to come on the panel, you're more than welcome also. I don't stop people that like this there from coming on. We have tried in the past to bring people on, but all they wanted to do was slag me off or try to take the channel down. But if you are actually interested in talking about Doctor Who and giving your point of view from someone that actually likes the era, if indeed you do like what's to come for Series 13, then you're more than welcome on also. And Retro Dicky is there as well.
Yes, everyone.
As well, PD. Right, it's 10 to 12. I better wrap up because I have to bring Ted down now before the fireworks. Fireworks are bleeding 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'll bring him down now. I have a window of opportunity, bring him down, and then he goes into the room with Cheryl. Then she tries to settle him down before the bleeding fireworks, and he'll be screaming. The Fox last night as well, screaming as if someone was murdered. Or the next time the Fox goes off on one, I'll try to get the sound and let you hear what the Fox says.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's really bad.
What does the Fox say?
What does the fox? The fox screams like a woman.
Sorry, that was terrible. I know.
Yeah.
You know that kind of sound you make when you really wrench when you're feeling sick? That,
Yeah.
but 10 times louder
Yeah.
and echoey.
Right, so we'll leave it there. We'll be back tomorrow, as I said, for some classic Who. Then on Sunday, we've got new Who, and I think I'm not 100% sure yet. We're going to go ahead with it because the numbers are not justifying it right now. But Rick and Morty, I was thinking of starting season 2, but
Back on hold, yeah.
I might put it on hold for a while because right now, as I said, it just the numbers don't justify keep doing them. I mean,
Hey, look, we're almost near season 8 of Doctor Who, and you know who's going to be with us for season 8, don't you?
Yeah, well, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know who's going to be with us for season 8, Melina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
She used to love that, wasn't she?
I think Charlotte's going to be changing to Melina, I think.
Yeah. So
You ain't going to miss that one.
And Siri, I'm not worried about the viewers for Series 13 because, as I said, not only will I have you guys listening to what we have to say, we'll also have the J-bots just to be waiting to jump on any words negative that I have to say about it. Me viewers, I've never had any problems with me viewers, Jordan. Jodie Whittaker series of Doctor Who. My most viewed panel, obviously, is the Timeless Child one. I think it's got over 4,000 or 5,000 views now. Every other stream that I've done, panel gets over 1,000 views. So I'm not worried about that. But it's going to be, look, it does get very heated on them. Every panel that we've had, even though, we have disliked this, some have disliked them more than others, and it has led to some nice debates. So,
Omega, we're looking at you.
So stick around, man, because there's going to be plenty of debate. There's going to be plenty of opinion, definitely plenty of opinion. But again, everybody will give the honest opinion on this chat. Well, I can only speak for myself. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you will definitely get an honest opinion from me. I'm not saying the other panelists won't, because when they come on, they do give their honest opinion, but I'm just saying I can't speak for anybody else, but I will be giving you me honest opinion, and I will review this with a clean slate. As I said, whatever interviews they've done, I'm going to keep that out of my head and go in and just see if he can improve on what he's given us the last 2 years. I know we say that every year, but for what I'm hearing, there could be an improvement. I just hope now he can leave on a high, but that's more wishful thinking than that else, but we will see. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for getting involved. Babette says, tons of love, enjoyed this, thank you. Noel, I sent you a DM, don't know if you already know about it. I'll just check that real quick before we leave, but I'm leaving out. This is going to end up a big, long conversation. I can't have to bring Ted out. So, and I've promised her because she's not, it's been one of those weeks where just a little bit of, while the BBC America schedules for October remains a sea of to be announced, this girl comes through once again to reveal that not only does the Halloween Apocalypse air, but there's also an extended cut at 8 p.m. So in America, they're getting an extended cut of the Halloween. An extended cut. So
my heart bleeds for them. My heart bleeds for them.
So why don't we just get it? So they're showing it at 2:25, right? ET, and then they show an extended cut then at 8 p.m. ET on BBC America.
I don't think any of us get BBC America on your hand.
Why would they get an see again? No offense to me American friends, but I'm fucking sick and tired of you guys getting exclusives. I'm sorry, but it's a UK show. Right?
I think they're okay to have this one.
No, but it just goes. But again, they need to stop this, and RTD needs to be very careful as well, right? If you're gonna give an extended or an exclusive or whatever, right? It shouldn't have any boundaries, right? It should be shown in the UK as long as shown in America. America shouldn't be getting an extended cut, and we're not getting one because they want to. What's the extended cut to explain to the American audience? That's what it probably is actually, because there's not because Americans are stupid, because the writing is so bad that plonker Chibnall probably has to explain on the screen before the episode airs or something, or have.
Oh, has it got like a little 5-minute what
explain
happened?
the story because he's a moron.
Yeah, it's got a what happened before.
Probably that's what it is.
Trying to get new audience, because the old audience all ran away.
No, I'm not saying that the UK should get it forced, right? What I'm saying is that if you're going to give an exclusive, it should be to everybody. It shouldn't just be exclusive for the American market, right? Everybody should get it. Everybody, because the show used to appeal to a wider audience, remember? And I think if fans don't feel like they're being left out, like they did under the Stephen Moffat era quite a lot when they got a lot of the exclusives over the other side of the Atlantic, that needs to stop. You have to go in with a new game now. And the new game is, if you're going to have an exclusive for your American audience, well, then you must have it for all your audience. There should be no more exclusives, to be quite honest with you. They should just... this show appeals to a worldwide audience, right? Well, it used to. We don't know how, worldwide audiences have been dropping off, but RTD will hopefully bring them back. But it has to have for everybody.
I thought it was supposed to be Space for All, not Space for America.
Hold on. There is no extended cut. BBC America is cutting the first screening of the episode to fit in the adverts, and then showing the same version the UK gets later on. Well, that actually makes sense then. Right, well, that makes proper sense. So thanks for that comment. Absolutely, yeah. So that would make sense. You're right, because they have ads where BBC don't.
No, we don't have ad breaks.
Yeah, well, I got that off because I'll throw them under a bus because I'm not taking the blame for that. But that came from Doctor Who Production News. That isn't actually a real Production News. They're a fan site claiming to be Doctor Who Production News. I've had a few scrapes with them in the past for their rubbish. But they're the ones that are saying it, and they were the ones that were going crazy about trying to find out when it was airing. And even I told them it'll be between Countryfile and Strictly, like it has for the last 2 years, because Chris Chibnall and the BBC are people of habits. They have the same habits. So I know, yeah. And I was right yet again, but I didn't need my sources to tell me that, because logically, if you use your brain, like Sherlock Holmes does, that's what I do. Yeah. You figure these things out. See, I'm not stupid. None of the people that support me are stupid. They're smart people. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out, right? It was always going to be between Strictly and Countryfile and Strictly. And people ask why. Well, because Countryfile is very popular, believe it or not. Do you know what? I used to watch Countryfile before Doctor Who.
My friend of mine used to work on it.
Big time, right? But you see, what happened is people watch to the end of Countryfile, right? And then the way it's done is they'll show an ad break or two, and then they'll go straight into Doctor Who. But people don't turn off BBC One straight away. They'll hang on for the first couple of minutes, and that registers as a view, you see. So that's how they're able to boost up the ratings as well. Then they know when Strictly comes on, they'll all switch back over to the BBC One because people want to tune in for Strictly. So then the end of that episode gets a little bit of a boost, right? So they know what they're doing. They're sandwiching in between the two popular shows on a Sunday night, right? Hoping that the residue left over from those two shows boost the ratings. And that's all it's ever been, by the way. From day one when Series 11 aired, same thing. and we even came out and said it. We all came out and said that was the
That's
only
why they
reason
moved it to Sunday, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's sandwiched
exactly.
between
To get it an
country
easier
clubs.
time slot as well, so she wouldn't have much competition, right? And on a
Yeah.
Sunday night at that time slot, look at the other channels. She's not actually going up against anything that decent.
Yeah.
So it's all a ploy. Listen, you don't have to be in the industry to see what they're doing. As I said, if you're
Right.
clever and smart enough, like I am, and me guests and people that follow me, you can figure all of this out. So it's on 6:25. Exactly what I said. It was on 6:25. Sandwich between Countryfile and Strictly. I've been saying that for ages, and people again saying no, he was going to change it and stuff like that. And I knew it wouldn't, because the creatures of habit.
Yep.
The creatures of habit. Chibnall and the BBC. They're creatures of habit. Sure, look at it when it's come to trailers as well. Creatures of habit. People during Series 12 were screaming for a trailer. Do you remember? We were supposed to have a trailer at certain times and they never happened.
Yeah.
Chris Chibnall's a creature of habit. Dropped the trailer a few weeks before the show was going to air, and he's done the same with Series 13.
Yeah, he did that with the
Well.
Christmas special.
Creature of
Festive
habit.
special. Festive special.
That's all he is, and it's easy to predict. He was easy to predict. That's the thing. You didn't need sources or to be a genius to figure this out. But a lot of people have actually proved how stupid and dumb they are, because there was a certain Mr. something out there that tried to say that quite possibly Doctor Who's going to be shown at 8:25. Right, he's a tick, and he's in the industry. By the way, he's in the industry. I'm not, and even I was able to use my brain and say, no, listen, all those times are wrong. It's going to be it's going to be sandwiched between these two shows, like it has been for the last few seasons. They're not going to change. And again, I got stick for that as well, but then it was confirmed as it always
the piss baby again, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. All right. We're
Apparently
going
in the industry. Apparently he's in the industry.
He's everywhere.
Right, 12:05. I have to go, and I'll be heading straight off, lads. I'll have a chat with you tomorrow, PD and stuff.
Okay, buddy.
When we're doing the classic, so if you're around, because I know Rabbi streams at a new time now, and I think finishes up. So
hopefully,
I'll talk to you after the classic panel anyway. It's just
sure.
Just you know yourself, bring Ted out and all of that. But listen, thanks for coming on, guys. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for all the nice words in the chat. People saying that they had a great night tonight, enjoyed the stream. I'm glad you did, because as I said, the day that you don't enjoy these streams is the day that I retire from YouTube. But again, thank you for all the support over these last couple of years. We're near the end now. We've been on this journey together.
You can see the tunnel.
That's it, light at the end of the tunnel. This journey will soon come to an end, and then there'll be a new beginning. And hopefully we'll be sitting here on panels, and I hope people don't find it boring, because if RTD does give us something sensational, I hope you all stick with me with the good, because you have to take the bad with the good, and we've had bad now, so let's see, can we have a bit of good? I hope you all stick around for that, because yes, I might be a grumpy old bastard when it came to this era, but trust me, I'm actually quite a positive guy. In real life, I'm very positive. Just when it came to Doctor Who, there's been nothing positive to talk about. But I want to be sitting here on this channel with a big smile on my face and telling you guys that Doctor Who is back. Doctor Who is back to its former glory, and it's even better than ever. That's what I want to be able to do, hopefully, when RTD takes over. Fingers crossed, cautiously optimistic. Let's hope it happens. Right.
Yeah, I love. I'm sorry. Are you gonna?
No, come on, finish up. Go on.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say something like, I love a good moan, but I also want this to be happiness. It's like the Seventh Doctor said in the Happiness Patrol. Happiness is nothing without sadness. They're in correlation with each other. So, I'll definitely, for one, Emma, will be sticking around.
The one thing that is gonna be intriguing, I wonder how all me haters are gonna take it when if RTD does pull the rabbit out of the hat, and I'm sitting here every week praising this, I wonder how they're going to feel, because there is this image of me in the fandom that I'm all of these horrible things, and unfortunately some of it has stuck, because there are people out there that have a lot of influence in the fandom that have made sure that it's stuck. But it'll be very interesting now to see, will they throw past shit at me while I'm being positive, or will they be able to drop it and move on? My guess is they'll probably dig up some past stuff that I've said and have a go at me, because these people just can't let go. But for the sake of the fandom, I hope they do. It's time to move on. I'm going to move on. As I said, I haven't been as active on Twitter calling people out anymore. I'm moving on. I'm sick of the negativity as well. And look, I'm not saying that people don't have the right to be negative, but every day I come onto Twitter, there's someone being negative about something. And to me, I'm just seeing negativity all around. I don't see any positivity. Even if a new movie or TV show is being introduced, there's always negativity. There's nothing ever positive being said. And I'm just sick and tired of it all. It's become this vicious fucking cycle. And, most of it is justified. I'm not saying it isn't, but, we have to kind of get out of these echo chambers and start doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is giving honest appraisals and honest reviews of these TV shows and movies. And today, I think what's happened is a lot of people have just gotten into this vicious cycle where it's always seen to be good. It's seen to be good to be criticizing all the time, and I just can't. That's why I do this show. I talk about shows that I've been watching, like Child's Play. Now, Chucky. Now, I know I didn't get into it too deep, but what I am going to be doing is, because as I said, when the second episode dropped, I'd probably review both episode 1 and 2 and then do them individually after that. I might try squeeze them in next week and do some reviews of them, but I'll be doing a lot of stuff like that myself now on the channel, because it's being said to me, no, we'd like to see you do a little bit more stuff. So I'm going to be talking about stuff that I like, and and recommend some TV shows to you, or movies that I've seen, and do some reviews, because as I said, I'm just sick and tired of all the negativity. And look, I'm negative as well, I can be, and look, one thing I will say is that even though I am giving out about the negativity, if this current era Doctor Who flux is shit, I will call it out, of course. I'm not going to try to be, what do they call it, politically correct or to sway one way or another, because I don't want people to be angry at me. I will give you an honest opinion, and if I think Series 13 is good, I will say it's good. If I think it's bad, I will say it's bad, and I'll judge them on each episode, each chapter it's called, by the way. So it's kind of like stealing the Mandalorian kind of way of doing it, because they did it in chapters as well. So look, I'll give it an honest opinion, and I'll give it a go. I'm going to go in with a clean slate, no matter what my personal feelings are on Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. I'll watch it based on what I see, and if it's an improvement on what we've got in the last 2 years, I will come out and say it's an improvement, what we got the last 2 series, sorry. But if it isn't, well, then you know what you are already going to get if it isn't. Because you have seen me rant on this channel over the last 2 seasons about certain episodes. So I'd like it to go out on a high, personally, for the show's sake. But we'll see. Right, gonna leave it there. There goes my phone. I'm just probably breaking my phone there because I'm a fucking idiot. I watched Chucky. I watched Doom Patrol as well. Maybe Babette, I might get you on for the Chucky reviews, and we could review it together, because very interesting show. While it does have some woke elements, he will do stuff in it, or the writers will do stuff in it that will upset and anger the other side as well.
Who's playing Chucky?
The same.
Brad. They got Brad back.
Yeah,
Good.
it's the original. It's the original
Awesome.
creator,
Awesome.
the director, and the writer.
Guy Mancini, yeah.
Yeah, he's come back now. It's his
Got
TV show.
Yeah, it's got Brad back. That's good.
We're getting a few more details about Charles Lee Ray. I will say this: the Charles Lee Ray story so far reminds me of Mike Myers' story, though, a little bit, which is kind of pissing me off a little bit. But he's back in his hometown for a reason. Chucky is, and lots of people are gonna suffer. The deaths in it so far have been cracking, I have to say, and there are some fucking epic scenes with Chucky, but it is a slow burner, and it's still a slow burner. But you know, I'm gonna watch it to the end. But it's a fascinating show. As in, I don't know what to think just yet, but I can't say. But it's not overwhelming. There's no overwhelming negatives here, or there's no overwhelming positives. If you get what I'm trying to say, it's a hard one to judge right now. Hopefully by the third and fourth episode, I'll kind of have a better idea whether I like this show really or I dislike it. Right now, I'm unsure. It's the first episode I thought was great. Second episode was a little bit dull though. But again, they were giving you more information and stuff. But I'm sick. I want Chucky to be doing a lot more than what he's doing right now. But I know they're building up to something.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there. Right, I'm gonna go. I'll just see what comments we have there because I just want to make sure that I haven't. No, there'll be no contact next Friday. Next Friday will be the Tarda Zone talks where we will be talking. And we will be talking about Doctor Who Flux as return. Obviously, it'll be on the Sunday, but I will be getting the final thoughts of people coming on, see where they stand. Will they be watching? Won't they be watching? Or whatever. So we'll be doing the Tarda Zone talks next Friday. Contact Now will either be shifted, I have to say, or it'll be put on hiatus for 6 weeks until the Whittaker era or the Whittaker season ends. I haven't decided yet. I will know by Wednesday when I find out who wants to be on the panels, and then I'll sit down then and I'll write out the new schedule, and whatever the new schedule will be, that'll be the schedule then until obviously the current era ends, and then when that ends, then we will put everything back into its original time slot. Thank you, Noel. You're a lovely guy. Thank you. No, listen, I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support, as I said. Right, I'm going to leave now because I was supposed to leave over 40 minutes ago. The wife is going to hit me with a frying pan because I have to take Ted out. I've got literally 15 minutes before these pricks in this block start with their parties and their fire fucking works. So I'm going to leave. I'll talk to you tomorrow for some Classic Who. Remember, we're still on William Hartnell. We're doing the Dalek story. So come and join us for that. And then on Sunday, then we have New Who. I'm trying. So we had dinosaurs in the spaceship. What's the one after that?
It's the Wild West one, isn't it? What is it?
Oh yeah, it's a town called Mercy.
And yeah, then after that we got another Chibnall. Oh.
And then after that, then it's the Power of Three. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But when the new schedule comes out, then I'll let you know when New Who, because that'll be getting removed from a Sunday because we'll have Doctor Who, the current series back. So I will be changing things around, as I said, making the panels smaller as well. That's what we'll be doing. So everybody can be heard on the channel, so because the panels are getting a bit too big. And I even do it myself, as I said. Sometimes we talk over each other, and it's not what I want. I want everybody to be able to get their point across and not to be interrupted. I do it myself sometimes. I'll put my own hand up as well. That's why I decided to make the panels smaller, because if I do, then it does give everybody the opportunity to get their. I've noticed when we do smaller panels, they seem to be better because everybody can get their opinions in.
A bit like this, really. We wait for others and stuff.
What?
I was saying a bit like this stream where there was 4 of us.
Well, that's what I mean. Look at it. It was perfect. Everybody got their word in, but this was a panel of 9 or 10 people. You probably wouldn't have got a word in edgeways tonight. And that's no disrespect to the people that I have on. It's just we do have people on the channel that are strong personalities and, like to get their points across. And,
Lee could speak for England, couldn't he?
Yeah, and I do the same as well. So I'm part of this. I could be guilty of it as well, but I've been getting a little bit better. I have to be honest, but that's what I've done. Sacha Dhawan has been in Cardiff. That's what I've heard. Yeah, look, it's again when people say stuff like that, and I'm not giving out to you, mate. I've seen this on Twitter. Again, you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. He was part of this timeless child storyline. So if people think, that he's not coming back, well.
Oh, did you see the giveaway, Noel? The big giveaway on Sacha Dhawan. It was like a props guy standing with Sacha Dhawan's carry-on props. Boxer's Masters carry-on props. It's like, it's not going to be in it. Oh, God.
So he will be in Series 13. If he's not in Series 13, he'll be definitely involved in the specials.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't make sense him telling her that she's the timeless child, or being in the Matrix, him starting up the Matrix or hijacking the Matrix for him not to turn up again. Again, some of these fans are stupid out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he coming back? Well, you don't need to be. Get away. I'm just sick of this.
Masters carry on.
I'm gonna look at the RTP era. It's gonna bring back intelligent people again. And all these dumb fucks are going to leave this fandom because the show will be too complicated for them, because Chris Chibnall's had to explain stuff on the screen when they thought it's gotten too complicated, even though, like, we've looked there and said, oh my God, he's actually explaining to this dumb audience, right? We don't need to explain because we're clever. So I can't wait to see the clever fans back, in this fandom where we don't need shit explained to us because we can figure these things out for ourselves. That's what I miss. So, I'll leave it there. Right. Good night, folks. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you tomorrow over the weekend. And hope you can tune in and support us. To me panelists again, thank you for coming on.
No worries.
And, You're welcome. See you guys over the weekend as well. Right. That's it. That's me out now. I'll talk to you soon, guys. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You shall be